Chapter 12, Managing Human Resources. Here's another example of futuristic thinking. Here are the learning objectives for today. Explain the importance of the human resource management process and the external influences that might affect that process. Discuss the tasks associated with identifying and selecting competent employees. Know how to be a good interviewee. Develop your skills at being a good interviewer. Explain the different types of orientation and training. Describe strategies for retaining competent, highly performing employees. Discuss contemporary issues in managing human resources. I want you to consider what type of environment would make you a high performer. Is it working in a team environment where you have autonomy and have the ability to make decisions? Or would you prefer an environment where you would like to be judged on your own performance? Each of us have a unique environment that we prefer, but we need to identify environments where we can be the most successful. Many times, the environment that you prefer is dependent on your generation, culture, or environment. De-recruitment is the most difficult task in any organization. How do you reduce your staffing levels that will meet the organizational goals, as well as being perceived as being fair? Many times this occurs when the company has been purchased by another company or the current financial and strategic model is not achievable. In your opinion, how should you de-recruit a person who's been with the company for many years? Which employees would you select first, second, and third, and why? Sometimes de-recruitment could be a positive thing. Many older workers or those with family responsibilities would prefer to work part-time or work from home. Sometimes, if a person can work from home, you can pay them less because they do not have the same cost structure as someone who has to go to work every day. What would be some of the cost considerations when making a decision to let people work from home? Here are some major human resources laws. Please refer to the text to obtain more information. Workforce trends in the first half of the 21st century will be notable for three reasons: changes in racial and ethnic composition, an aging baby booming generation, and expanding cohort of Generation Y workers. By 2050, Hispanics will grow from today's 13% of the workforce to 24%. African American will increase from 12 to 14%, and Asians will increase from 5% to 11%. Meanwhile, the labor force is aging. The 55 and older age group, which currently makes up 13% of the workforce, will increase to 20% by 2014. Another group that's having a significant impact on today's workforce is Generation Y, a population group that includes individuals born between 1978 to 1994. Gen Y has been the fastest growing segment of the workforce, increasing from 14% to more than 24%. The demographics of the developing world is scary when you consider who will be supporting their older populations. The demographics of the world is scary when you consider who will be supporting everyone's older population. Japan is the oldest, while the U.S. was on a dangerous trend of having fewer children. Currently, the baby boomers will make up the larger percentage of the labor force, but they will be retiring shortly. The question becomes, which population will take care of their large retired population? The increase of the Hispanic and foreign populations will become the next largest labor force over the next 3 decades. I believe that this statistics should be encouraging for each of us to learn Spanish to be successful, to work in this global, culturally diverse environment, where at least 1 out of every 3 persons will be able to speak Spanish. Here's a general characteristics of the different generations. Take a look at this chart for a moment. Do you think, since generations are different, that this may lead to conflicts in the workplace or at home? Why or why not? I want you to brainstorm and identify other sources for employees. I also want you to think about the advantages and disadvantages of each of them. Many times we reject great candidates because of our procedures or personal biases. In my opinion, past success will predict future success. Do not let things like purple hair, earrings, tattoos, or other things that might cloud your judgment to cause you to make the wrong hiring decision. Starbucks as a company has hired great managers and employees by not letting their personal bias to interfere in the hiring process. People under the age of 45 are twice as likely than those over 45 to have at least one tattoo. Nearly half of all women under the age of 35 have been tattooed, almost doubling their male counterparts. Let's take a look at couple companies' orientation and discuss them. Exhibit 12.9 provides description of the various traditional and technology-based training methods that managers might use. Experts believe that organizations will increasingly rely on e-learning and mobile applications to train their employees. The best thing about online methods is the consistency. Every employee will have the same experience. The challenge with classroom lectures is dependent on the trainer and employees to make it successful. Performance appraisals should be developed by professionals who understand the job requirements. For example, if customer interaction is being measured but is not part of the job, a company could be liable if they adversely affects a person's ratings and overall job performance. So make sure that any measurement that you focus on is job related. Performance appraisals should be developed by professionals who understand the job requirements. Performance appraisals should be developed by professionals who understand the job requirements. For example, if customer interaction is being measured but is not part of the job, a company could be held liable if it adversely affects a person's rating and overall job performance. So make sure that any measurement that you use focuses on the job requirements. I want you to think about a hospitality business and then classify onto this figure. Let's go through some of these. How long does hospitality workers generally stay around? What type of jobs are there in the hospitality sector? What is the possibility that you will work in a unionized business? How will this change the way you manage? Is our industry more labor or capital intensive? How does this affect pay? How does a geographical location affect pay? How does the size of the company affect benefits and pay? Let's discuss if unionization is coming. Let's break into groups and do the in-class assignment. For those of you who would like to do the homework assignment, here are the 4 questions.